This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Robert Fekkes at the Nerdster3. Actually, it's just Nerdster. Just Nerdster330 on Instagram.
There you go. And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. I'm your aforementioned host, everyday gangster, and charter member of the Speedway Sparkplugs Mafia, Matt Hurt. And with me today is recurring co-host Robert Fekkes.
I show no affiliation to the Speedway Mafia.
Right.
At all.
I don't expect you
They'll spark plug you full of holes.
That's great.
Yeah. If for anyone that doesn't know, the Speedway High School mascot is a spark plug.
Yes.
So take that information and do with it what you will.
I don't expect you to remember, but like we made that joke in the first episode of the Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, did we really?
Like you mentioned the Sparkplug Mafia, because I said I was an everyday gangster because we were talking about Pulp Fiction and you said that it was great because it's just everyday gangsters.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
I don't
been
remember.
so long.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm so proud of myself for saying that with a straight face.
You should be. You should be.
I've been looking forward to it all day.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Oh, God. So anyway, welcome to the Obsessive Viewer. Fekkes, how's it going?
It is going well.
Nice. Back from Vegas, we talked about your Vegas trip on the Patreon.
Been almost
special.
3 weeks now, I think.
Nice. Very nice. I was gonna say I already have an obnoxious Las Vegas hat, so you didn't need to get me any souvenirs.
You're right. I did not need to, nor did I get you any souvenirs.
Oh, that's fair. My brother didn't either. I don't know.
Turns out we spent a lot of money in Vegas.
You know, that is something that happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Can easily happen.
Right. So today we are continuing our retrospective on the film work of one Quentin Tarantino. The last episode was recorded back in April, and then this one is recorded now, a couple weeks ahead of release. So we're on the eve of July 4th, just to put it into context. So happy birthday, America. So Fekkes.
So
we are going to kind of just dive right into it, I guess.
Sounds good.
Unless we have any new business. I don't think we do.
I don't think so.
No. First of all, just to recap, in the last episode we reviewed Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and Jackie Brown. I re-listened to it. I thought it was a really fun discussion.
Good. Good.
So I was very pleased with it. Today we're going to talk about Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, and Death Proof. And like we did last week, we're going to be spoiling these movies at the outset. So just to kind of make it a little easier, we're going to spoil these three movies. If you haven't seen them, go check them out and then come back and listen to the reviews. But all of this is to build up toward Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which, since it's been a few months since we recorded our initial retrospective episode, how's your anticipation for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Ever increasing. I keep seeing the previews every time I go see the movie, and God, it just looks like a lot of fun.
It really does, and the cast is the
cast is just amazing. Yeah, outstanding.
Yep. The latest trailer has has Leo go into his trailer and he's like freaking out.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's a good one.
Gift and everything. GIF. Yeah. Oh man, there was something I could have brought up, but for news, maybe if we wind down with a potpourri thing, I can bring it up. I don't know. Anyway, Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, and Death Proof. That's what we're talking about today. So if you haven't seen them, come back when you have. Let's just dive into Kill Bill Volume 1. Here's a clip from the trailer, and then we'll get into our review.
One ticket to Tokyo, please. One way. No kidding. I heard it was kind of hard.
So Fekkes, Kill Bill Volume 1.
Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yes. This came out in 2003. This was I was a sophomore or maybe a junior in high school. Junior. I was a junior. Anyway, what was your expectations going into Kill Bill Volume 1, and like how did it?
So I was a sophomore in college when this came out, and so as every new early college student, I was an expert in film and all things politics and everything. So naturally, Quentin Tarantino was the god of filmmaking, and as I would tell anyone with an ear, it's like, I really enjoy Quentin Tarantino. He's a masterful filmmaker. So obviously, I am pumped and super excited for Kill Bill to come out. And if you remember, when Kill Bill was on its way to being released, originally it was set to be one movie,
right?
And later on, they decided to split it in between two movies via Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Was that, do you know offhand if that was a Weinstein decision?
I have no idea.
Okay, it sounds like a Weinstein thing to do, and also all the rape and stuff.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a Weinstein thing to do.
I can't say for certain, but I feel like that's probably like a Bob and Harvey Weinstein thing.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway. How'd you feel about it?
So I was upset initially that they were going to split up the two movies. How dare they? But it eventually works out in the end. So I was super excited for Kill Bill Volume 1 to come out, mainly because it was going to be the very first Quentin Tarantino film that I would ever be able to go see in the theaters.
Oh, nice.
So that was very exciting for me. I had a large group of friends that we were all kind of in the same boat. We were all fans of Tarantino's early work, and we were super excited to see his take on a samurai ninja movie.
Nice. So how was that theater? I didn't see it in the theater. I ended up getting it on DVD. I think I blind bought it on DVD when I was working at Blockbuster.
Good blind buy.
Yeah. I remember being very annoyed that apparently it never, I feel like there was always talk of there being a double Blu-ray release that's Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair that has both of them together in one Blu-ray, but I don't know if that ever came out.
It was weird, they released a sleeve that you could get at Best Buy that you could just package them together. And I thought that, not like a two movie thing. You know what though? I feel like that's got to be the decision of Tarantino to make, and I almost feel at this point he has really just kind of decided that these are two separate movies, and get into discussing them later. I would agree with that, so I don't think he really wants to go and kind of mush them back together.
I agree. However, he does count them as one movie.
Oh, does he?
Does his whole Quentin Tarantino's 9th movie?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think, unless my math is wrong, because Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because Death Proof is the 5th film by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
But yeah, and it's interesting because I don't mind them being separated or anything. I just want that. At least that them collected into one Blu-ray set, have them individual and everything.
If they release it, I wouldn't buy it. I don't view them as one movie. I view them as two separate movies for me, and so there'd be no need for me to have the whole bloody affair. I wouldn't want to watch it as a one standalone movie.
Gotcha. Plus, that would be 4 hours.
It would be a long movie
to watch a 4-hour movie, but. And to the movie's credits, they are two very different in tone.
They are extremely different in tone movies, and my appreciation for either one of them has changed quite a bit from the time that I first saw them to now.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So let's get back to that first theater viewing in 2003. How did you feel about it? And how did that feeling evolve over the years?
I walked out of the theater in love with the movie. I had a blast with it. I thought it was amazingly choreographed, especially the big fight scene at the restaurant at the end.
Yeah.
I think it starts off with an amazing kick, no pun intended, between her and Vivica Fox, the big fight scene in the house. That's a lot of fun. And from there, like, the whole movie was just nonstop fun for me. Just a great fight scenes, great dialogue, great character interactions with all the people that she's coming across throughout the entire film. I love the stuff with Hattori Hanzo, like at the sushi restaurant. That's such a fun scene.
I had forgotten about that.
Oh my god,
that scene.
Oh, it's classic.
It was delightful.
Yeah, it's
so great.
I love that entire. I love the knife drop in the back room when she mentions Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah.
So no, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun with the movie, seeing it with friends, and I walked out of it in love with it. It had a good badass feel to it. The soundtrack was very just upbeat and just kind of really got you in the mood to, I don't know, do something.
Right.
So it was a lot of fun.
Massacre a bunch of people.
Right, go kill a bunch of people. Yeah, murder. And to this day, I still love the movie. It's I forgot how much I enjoyed it upon rewatching it a couple weeks ago. It's just my appreciation for Volume 2 has increased to be, in my opinion, a better, or at least for me, a better film to watch than Volume 1.
You know, I will echo a lot of those sentiments, and it's tricky because Kill Bill Volume 1, like, a lot of what you said, I love the choreography, the brutalness of the fights, like the spurts of blood, like the gore in the fight scene at the end is just amazing. It's so incredible because it's not. I mean, it's over the top, but it's not like gory to the effect of like a Rob Zombie film,
right?
Or anything. It's like
it's over the top, and it's meant to look over the top.
Yes, it's stylized, like just the geysers of blood coming out of the
dismemberments and the chopped off heads.
It's like there's something
Tanaka-san.
There's something kind of oddly satisfying about just seeing just the fountains of blood,
right?
Just because you know that it's not like I said, it's over the top, but it's not too gross or
right. It's cartoonish,
stylized, yeah. And that fight with the crazy 88s at the end is just really just the kind of pièce de résistance of the part one.
And that part has probably one of my favorite long shots in film.
Oh yeah,
the following Sophie Fatale through the restaurant is just
so good.
It is good,
so good. The Charlie Brown guy is cool.
Yes, the Charlie Brown. I love that part.
Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to Mike a couple episodes ago at this point, and we were talking about digital versus like physical media and stuff, and like he was saying like he has a lot of anxiety over like digital media and stuff.
I'm same way.
Yeah. Oh, and I totally get that. And like one of the things he said was like, this is the thing, like if I know that if I have like a Blu-ray, like that won't buffer. Like
right.
if I have a digital copy, it'll buffer.
Or if something fucks up on my computer, it doesn't just get wiped out.
Exactly. I was watching Kill Bill Volume 1 on a DVD that I bought when I was in high school, and it skipped quite a bit.
Oh, did it really?
It skipped at the end. Like I was able to like rewind it, and like it cut off like 30 seconds.
Yeah. But
I was just like, that's so funny because like last night I literally had this conversation with Mike, and it's like the DVD's like heard it.
You gotta take better care of your DVDs, man.
I know. Well, it's an old DVD, and I don't know, but yeah, it's such a fun, energetic movie, and it's kind of something that I'm gonna posit a question at the end of this episode, but I'll save it for then. But like, it's a very fun, stylized, violent movie, and it's just kind of in my eyes, it kind of feels like a continuation of sorts of the. I kind of view Pulp Fiction. If you view it as the title of Pulp Fiction, I feel like that in the fact that it was Quentin Tarantino's entrance into the scene in the mainstream. I feel like that's like telling the audience, like, okay, this is what my career is going to be. It's going to be pulp fiction. It's going to be pulp film and everything. And I feel like Kill Bill Volume 1 is a great continuation of that because it's very pulpy. It's very driven by just style.
I get behind what you're saying.
Yeah, almost to the detriment of substance because we don't get much backstory at all. In it, and like that's saved for Kill Bill Volume 2. But I kind of felt like to kind of dip into Kill Bill Volume 2, I didn't see that until after I left theaters, honestly.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I wasn't as primed for it because I felt like while Kill Bill Volume 1 was a lot of fun, it didn't leave me with really much aside from Quentin Tarantino as a name, as a brand.
Oh man, I couldn't wait for Volume 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it does leave on that cliffhanger of the daughter being alive. So, and that was an interesting hook, but I don't know. Maybe that was when I was cultivating. Yeah, because Kill Bill Volume 2 came out in 2004, so it was probably right around the time I was being a huge snob.
Everyone likes Tarantino.
Yes.
I'm beyond him.
Yes. Oh, you like sword fights. Watch Seven Samurai. Of which I just got the Criterion.
You probably don't know what Criterion is, but...
Oh, yeah. My my gamer tag on when I had Xbox was Matty Cuso, because Cuso was one of the obscure ass samurai in Seven Samurai.
He wasn't pretentious.
He wasn't even like the main samurai. He wasn't Toshiro Mifune's character. He was.
I love movies that are obscure and characters even more obscure. Do you know who the grip was in that movie? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. But anyway. Okay, enough shitting on me. But yeah, so I enjoyed Kill Bill Volume 1. How did you feel about the swap to black and white?
Are you talking about during the fight scene?
Yeah.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And, as a fresh film critic, I was like, the very style and aesthetic of that was really vibrant and then subdued. No, I thought it was fun, and I love how they changed from black to white back to color.
Yeah, same here.
And I love the style of the animation when they're talking about Oshii's backstory.
Yes, that was very cool.
That was a very cool segment.
Yep. Man.
Oren Ishii, sorry.
Yes. Totally forgot about that until I saw the movie again, because I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
Yeah, it'd been a bit for me too.
Yeah. So, do you still feel that way about it? I know that you said that Volume 2 kind of raised...
Oh, I still have the same viewpoint of Volume 1 as I did walking out of the theater, especially rewatching it now. It's a lot of fun still. It's a great movie, and yeah, a lot of the same feelings watching it the other week were the same that I had walking out of it. So
nice. So, okay, how did you feel about this aspect of it? Because, so, rewatching it, like, the weird bleeping out of the character's name, I still don't get why. Like, what...
I feel like Quentin Tarantino is one of those guys that puts things in films for one of two reasons. One, to make people wonder why and not really have a reason, or to have his own personal reason why and say, it's for me to know.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm going to tip my hat a little bit to the end of the episode, but one of the things I wouldn't say struggle with, but I kind of have to reconcile in my mind when I watch a Quentin Tarantino movie is that so much, I would say 90% of his work in one of his movies. So like 90% of the effort he puts into a movie is strictly style over any type of
he's
stuff.
Very style-driven director. There's never been a question about that.
Yeah. And in a movie like Kill Bill, like the entire conceit of the movie is that she is out for revenge against Bill. And I feel like there was just... I know that they save the backstory and everything for Volume 2, but in Volume 1 it just feels like we're going from admittedly incredible set piece to incredible set piece, and it's engaging and everything, but it's like I don't feel that much for the character because it's all style for me. Did you have to like reconcile that in your mind?
Especially not when I saw it for the first time, because just like amazing set pieces. That was enough for me. Mm-hmm. And even now, and it might be just because I've seen both movies and have watched these films several times since, doesn't stand out as a problem for me.
Okay.
I know what I'm getting into when I'm watching Volume 1, and I know what I'm getting into watching Volume 2. That may be why at this point in my life I find more entertainment out of Volume 2s, because it is a deeper film and more character-driven film. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't bother me to watch Volume 1 at all, in the sense.
Do you think that that's an issue with Tarantino overall?
No, because that's his style of filmmaking. I still feel like he has great substance in his movies. He's an incredible writer when it comes to conversation. He creates amazing characters still.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I think he has just as much style as he does writing skill. So
okay. Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that as we go along in this retrospective, I'm sure. Quick side note, and I don't know if I'll put this in the episode or not, but my team at work went to lunch, kind of because we're changing up the teams and stuff. So my boss was like, "Oh, let's go all out for lunch for like one last time as a team." And there's one member on my team that's like, I'll put it this way, she's retiring next year, so she's a lot older than everyone else in the team. And like we're sitting there, we're eating our lunch and everything, and then she mentions like one of my other teammates, she has a second job as a waitress, like kind of an upper skill kind of restaurant in Carmel. Right. And so they were talking about like servers and tipping and stuff, and like the older member of the team, she was like, "Yeah, I don't really tip that much." And it was just, I was like, everyone was just like kind of like side-eyeing everyone, like, is she fucking serious? Like, and I was just like, I didn't realize that people like that actually exist.
They do.
Yeah.
They really do.
And then one of my other team members told the story of when she was in high school. She was a hostess at Outback, and someone came in and they were having, like, they kept sending food back and, like, were just a total pain in the ass. And apparently they left a penny as a tip. And the waitress, like, grabbed it, ran out, and threw it at them.
Those kind of people are terrible.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, Kill Bill, I forgot where we were.
Kill Bill Volume 2?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, let's go into Kill Bill Volume 2. So Kill Bill Volume 1, good setup for the story and everything.
I've killed a hell of a lot of people to get to this point. I went on what the movie advertisements refer to as a roaring rampage of revenge. I roared, and I rampaged, and I got bloody satisfaction.
You've got to start becoming afraid of her, because she is coming.
And when I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
And yeah, so Kill Bill Volume 2 came out in 2004. Did you see that in theaters as well?
I did. Saw it down in Bloomington, and that time it was me and Peter, my brother, my older brother. Okay. He came down, and we both went out to see Volume 2.
Nice. I was going to make the joke when you were talking about Volume 1, like, oh, look at you, having a big group of friends in 2003. But that's cool. So you and Peter went and saw it in Bloomington. So how was that experience? Did it live up to you in that moment?
In that moment, I walked out of it really enjoying the film. Mm-hmm. I don't think I knew what to expect out of Volume 2, given what Volume 1 was. So I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I remember Peter asking me when we were leaving the theater which one I liked more between Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I remember just telling him, I don't know that I can compare the two movies because they're two completely different style of movies. Really are. So I was like, I'm not comfortable saying which one I think is better because just they're two completely different movies. And so I just remember needed a lot more thought and time to kind of digest Volume 2 before I could actually realize how I felt about it.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't remember how I felt when I first saw it. I think I was just kind of bored with it, honestly. I think that I was at a time when I was a teenager, and I was just like, oh, like the first one had so much action and everything.
Right.
This is just a lot of talking. Which there's some really good action in Volume 2.
There is.
But it's more subdued.
Yeah.
And kind of on that same topic, or about Volume 1, to kind of go back to Volume 1, I feel like we kind of skipped over this, and maybe we should highlight a little bit. The Pussy Wagon and Buck Who's There to Fuck. How'd you feel about that? I feel like that's...
Oh, I thought it was funny.
Okay.
I still think it's funny.
Okay.
And the guy that came in to fuck. Yeah,
Who
I don't...
makes an appearance in Death Proof.
Yes, he does.
As do the detectives.
Yeah.
From Kill Bill.
Who are also in Planet Terror.
Oh, okay. See, when we get to Death Proof, I didn't have time to watch Planet Terror.
I've seen Planet Terror a lot, so I know I'm pretty well versed in it.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Michael Park and the person that plays Michael Park's son.
Yes, yeah. I don't know.
No.
Are they father and son in real life?
I don't know. Sounds like
so.
Probably is. That seems like a very Quentin Tarantino thing to have done.
But with the kind of rape scene and everything, well, I don't know. Okay, first of all, I don't know. I don't know how to dance around this. The coma sequence, I will say. First of all, that when Daryl Hannah in the flashback is walking down the hallway and she's whistling that tune. On one, like, it's super catchy, and I love it in the movie.
I love her eye patch.
Yes, me too. And somewhat, like, that portion is somewhat ruined for me because I was, like, they use it a lot in the first season of American Horror Story, and I didn't like that show, that first season.
Yeah.
And, like, I kept thinking, like, oh, that's a cool thing, because I had forgotten about its use in Kill Bill. I was like, okay, this is just another thing where they're fucking using something from something else, because that's basically all that season 1 was just rehashing better things. But I digress. So, the Buck Who's Here to Fuck thing and the Pussy Wagon, like, it felt like... I'm watching it now, and maybe it's because it's 2019, I'm woke or whatever, but it just felt like gratuity for no other purpose than to be gratuitous and over the top.
I don't see it.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's not like that shit doesn't happen.
I don't want to think about that happening. Didn't it?
Do you not forget? It just happened.
That's
Guy
right.
impregnated a coma patient.
Fuck, that's right. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was literally 6 months ago.
Ugh. God, that's terrible.
So it's not like it's not a thing.
But I will say that the comeuppance of that is really
Buck's
good.
death is amazing.
So
it's hard
satisfying.
to watch. It's just the you almost feel his head slamming on that door.
And that's another example of the violence being like him towing that line really well in terms of violence, because it's not like you don't see like a cracked skull or anything, but like just the sound design and the force that she slams the door on. It's like it's all there, but it's still restrained enough to where it's not like grotesque. And I just really appreciate that balance that he struck throughout his career, really. So anyway, back to Volume 2. So the story is fleshed out quite a bit more in Volume 2.
Especially the backstory of the characters. Yeah.
And it feels more... it feels like it goes even deeper into the kind of martial arts, like, homage that he was doing. Like, the whole sequence with...
Pai Mei.
God,
I love that sequence.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
It's so funny, because when I first saw the movie, like, way back in, like, 2004, 2005... I hated that.
Oh, really?
I thought it was so over. Like, it took me out of the movie.
I was in love with Pai Mei the moment I saw him.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I didn't get it. Like, because I'd never really watched, and maybe this is something we could have talked about before we dove into the reviews, but never really watched martial arts movies or anything. So, like, just that seemed just very heightened and over the top. But, like, watching it now, it's like I get it. Like, I still haven't watched any real martial arts movies or anything. I've never watched Kung Fu or anything, but I get it as a point of reference, and just like the the kind of homage that he's doing in that is just like, it's really good. I really enjoyed the kind of training sequence.
Yeah, that whole sequence is so good, and Pai Mei is fantastic.
Yep.
My favorite line is, "From there, you have an excellent view of my foot." Kicks her in the face. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Have you? This would be a good time to ask. Have you watched any martial arts movies? Like
I used to watch quite a few of them when I was in college.
Okay.
I'm not like an expert on them, but I've had a lot of fun with them when I was in college.
Nice. I've always wanted to see, really any Bruce Lee movies, like that whole thing.
Oh yeah, I watched a few Bruce Lee movies. He's amazing to watch.
That, and then also, I've never seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I've heard really
It's
good
one of my
things about it.
favorites.
Yeah.
Love Crouching Tiger.
I'll have to watch it. Did you watch the sequel that was on Netflix?
No, didn't have any interest. Didn't need to. Didn't
Fair.
want to.
That's fair. So the storyline and everything as it's fleshed out. So we get the backstory with her training and everything. That's a good way to kind of see. I don't remember if it was. I mean, it's pretty obvious with the whole 5-point palm.
The 5-point palm. Oh God, what is it? 5-point palm. It's gonna kill me.
The 5-point palm.
Pressure.
Deus Ex Machina.
5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Yeah. I like that because it seems like such a old style martial arts kind of concept. And I appreciated it.
And some of those movies do get into like the pressure point hits like that. Like there's a scene in Crouching Tiger where one guy gets paralyzed by a couple of these, and then the main character comes over and hits some other pressure points, and he comes out of it. So it's very appropriate.
Yeah. And to cull from my knowledge base and everything, there's a scene in Three Ninjas where they are working on that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Man, how great was Three Ninjas?
I loved that movie as a kid.
I loved it so much. Oh my god. Anyway, I really want to watch that now.
It's like 4 of them.
Yeah,
Three Ninjas Kick Back.
Yeah.
One had Hulk Hogan in it.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
I think I watched the one where they were in Japan because they were on a baseball team or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this isn't my Three Ninjas. Yeah, but man, I love that. I love
Yep, I love that movie too.
Yeah. What did you think of? Okay. So Volume 2 really finally expands. We're teased with Michael Madsen in the first movie,
right?
And then in Volume 2, he gets much more to it. And in our previous episode, we raved about Michael Madsen.
And I'm gonna say it again.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Tarantino has an ability to pull ridiculously amazing performances out of Michael Madsen.
Yep.
His character in Volume 2 is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
The interaction he has with Bill, I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
That is such a good scene. Mm-hmm. And then everything, him at the at his job at the titty bar, you really just get a sense of, you feel sorry for this downtrodden guy. At one point he was a world-class assassin, probably making all kinds of money. Now he's in a trailer in Tucson or El Paso, I think so, working as a bouncer at a titty bar.
Right.
And you feel sorry for the guy.
You do. And I love the kind of the fake out of his last line in Volume 1, where he's like,
and we deserve to die.
Yeah. And then it's it's redone in Volume 2.
But then again, so do we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, fuck her. She needs to die too, or whatever. Or whatever he said. But I love that as kind of the payoff of that last line in Volume 1. The scene where she goes to his trailer, it had been so long since I'd seen Volume 2. I did not remember how his character. I didn't remember really anything about his character. So when him and Bill are talking, I was I vaguely thought wait, does Bill just kill him here or something? I couldn't remember.
Whoa, wow, yeah, you didn't remember at all.
And then when he's at the strip club, I'm thinking wait, is there like a big shootout or something in this?
Wow.
Yeah. And then when she's at the trailer and everything, I was like, I don't remember what. And then boom, she just gets blown away. And I'd forgotten about the whole like buried alive thing. I'd forgotten so much. And I was just delighted with everything.
Oh, it's such a good sequence.
Every second that he's on screen, I was just so into it.
You hawked a Hattori Hanzo sword? It was priceless. Well, not in El Paso, it ain't. In El Paso, it got me $250.
That was great. And the stuff with him and Daryl Hannah, like,
oh yeah, that scene, between those two, that was good. That was super good.
And again, I forgot about the snake, and like,
you forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like, he's got one of the worst deaths in the entire two movies. Just like, this poor fucking guy.
Oh yeah.
Just can't catch a break.
Oh yeah. And like, I was thinking as it was happening, because like when the snakes like popped up under the money, I was like I jumped, like I was very surprised and startled. Because again, I saw this like once, like years ago, but it was so surprising. I kept thinking like, am I okay with this? Like, because I kind of wanted, the bride to take him down and everything, but then like
he's already been taken down.
He had, by life.
Yes,
but I was quickly okay with that as soon as she and Daryl Hannah had their whole.
Oh, the fight in that trailer is so
amazing. Just and when she just takes her eye,
it's so like when it squishes in the foot.
Yes.
That's hard to watch.
That's where I'll walk back my whole like, oh, nothing's too gratuitous or disgusting. Like that was just like so like. I didn't have a problem with it, but I was just like that made me a little. That was the one part in either of these movies, as well as Death Proof, that like I got squeamish a little bit. But yeah, and just Daryl Hannah just. Her freak out after like
I know
that
you got incredible. That seems so authentic.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my god, it was so good. So
I had this weird worry after that scene where she's still in the trailer. I'm like, the Black Mama's still in there. She might get bit. And now I'm just like, you moron. You know that's not going to happen.
Right.
I don't know why I was thinking that. That's how it's going to end. She's going to get bit in the ankle by the Black Mamba.
She's bleeding out from her eye socket, but oh no, the Black Mama's going to get her. She's going to die. She's out in the middle of nowhere.
No, I'm talking about the bride. I'm talking about Beatrix.
I thought you meant.
No, I was thinking that Beatrix is going to get bit.
Yeah,
I was like,
I thought I didn't think that. I thought that there would. It would have been cool if there was like a moment between them. Like,
they just kind of look at each other.
Yeah, because they're both Black Mamba. Right. Because that's her code name.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it. Deadly Viper Squad.
Yes. So let's kind of walk back a little bit and talk about the buried alive sequence. And in Volume 2, this is where it gets in, like it does. It just dips into the black and white briefly, which I think kind of it's an interesting juxtaposition because the black and white in Volume 1 is the big climactic action set piece thing, and Volume 2 it's just this very quiet, subdued one person in the frame just working out, like trying to get out of there. And I feel like that's representative of the styles of both movies. Like Volume 1 is very action driven, and then this is very subdued and very character driven. I don't know if that was his intent, but I like that we got a resurgence of that kind of visual technique. How'd you feel about the whole buried alive sequence?
Oh, so claustrophobic to watch. Like I have some claustrophobia myself, and that is just, it almost gives me a panic attack just watching that sequence. They do a great job of really making you feel the nails going into the coffin. Yes. And the small sliver of light just disappearing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very well done.
Oh yeah, and he does not shy away from the nails or anything.
Oh, I know.
Like it's almost to the point of overdoing it. Like yeah, she's definitely in there. Like she's definitely.
And then to hear the dirt fall onto the coffin.
Yes.
Whew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
And I love that it's the payoff of that is her doing the whole punching through like 2 feet away or whatever, like 3 inches.
3
away.
inches.
Yeah, 2 feet, but it's not 2 feet.
Yeah,
3
yeah.
inches
Jesus,
away.
what kind of coffin do you think you're just gonna get buried
About
in?
100 yards.
So they're doing roundhouse kicks to it.
But even then, like when she finally punches through and the dirt just falls, like I was like gasping for air.
Right. And then it gets. Can I get a glass of water, please?
Yeah, that was great. So there's like what else about like the big kind of confrontation with Bill when she gets there.
Are you just gonna gloss over Mr. Viejo? Senior Viejo?
Oh yeah, okay, yes. Go, yeah.
Yeah, so that character, while a small role, is a fascinating character.
I wasn't okay. I watched Volume 2 in a couple of different parts because like I ran out of time, and I was like really tired at this point, so I may have kind of nodded off a little bit here. But yeah, he was a fascinating character.
I love Esteban Viejo. I don't know what it is, but the conversation between them, he's so civilized and polite, yet you know he's a horrible human being, human trafficker.
Yeah. And it just at that point,
and you got to wonder what brought it to a point where Bill, as a young kid, is hanging around with Esteban. Like, what in his life brought Bill to Esteban?
True, yeah. I should probably rewatch that scene, because I kind of felt like it was just a stop until, like a detour to get to Bill. I was kind of, at that point, I was just kind of like, okay.
I really dig that scene.
Hit the road.
It's a lot of fun to me.
Okay.
You know that's Michael Parks?
I saw that in the credits, and I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Great performance.
Absolutely.
Fantastic performance. Yeah, anything else about that?
I love the pussy died.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Bill said you've been driving a pussy wagon.
Did we ever get closure on what happened to the pussy wagon?
She just says that it died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hence the pussy died.
There we go.
Yeah.
So then Bill.
Then off to Bill.
Yes. So this is okay. I had like half an hour before I a peek behind the curtain. Last night I was watching Kill Bill Volume 2. I was getting very drowsy, and then I had half an hour left of the movie, or half hour, 35, 40 minutes, and I was like, this is at a part where I was like, okay, I can stay up and like power through and watch all of it, and then just have a terrible day at work, or I can pause it or like stop it and then revisit it when I come home from work tomorrow. So all of the stuff when she gets to Bill and the kid reveals herself and everything, and she had we have that extended she's there with her kid montage kind of thing. That kind of just felt like it was just really, really putting the brakes on the whole momentum of the movie for me.
It does, but I think it does in an effective manner.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're expecting this big confrontation, then boom, there's BB.
Yeah.
Like what do you expect to happen? What would anyone expect to happen in that moment?
Right.
So I love it. I love the interaction. I love the discussion between Bill, BB, and her about the fish. I think that's a great conversation and a great look into the mentality of the child, and it makes me think well, how did I even learn about death?
Oh yeah.
I love that entire sequence.
Nice. I love it on paper. Like you said, the whole fish thing, like that,
and it gives a peek as to what this dynamic would have been like had it not gone to the point where she got blasted in the head by Bill.
Right. That's true. But I feel like it. I don't know, because I'd kind of forgotten that was what happened. Like I forgot that they had this little domestic sequence, and it felt like it just slowed it down for me. But I love it in theory. It's an incredible reveal. When she has a toy gun, and she's like, "Bang bang,
yeah,
bang,
right."
Mommy. That was oh my god! In that moment, I was like, "This is the most this is the most emotionally impactful scene I've seen from Tarantino, just about at this point. Yeah. And it's just like it worked for me, but then it just felt like it was just a slow moving thing. Even when we get the conversation between her and Bill, like I felt like that was just, there was just so much history and everything, and so much dialogue that they had to get through, that it just felt like.
Are you talking about the conversation after she's been hit with the truth serum?
Yeah.
I love that conversation.
Really? Okay.
I think it's a fantastic conversation.
Nice.
I love the lead-in as to his comic book theory and to lead in as to why this would never work out for her. Mm-hmm. I think that is a fascinating dialogue piece.
It is, but I think maybe,
and you get such a sense of Bill as a person at that point because you haven't had it yet,
right? And
you have two scenes with Bill that are fantastic before this. You have the Michael Madsen scene, yep. And then you have the scene where he's talking to her at the dress rehearsal of the wedding.
Oh yeah,
and I love that scene too. That is between her and Bill. I think that's an amazing dialogue scene too. And true. So now we're getting some depth into these two characters, and I think that conversation's amazing.
That's true, yeah. And I was about to say that maybe it's because we didn't have enough of it in the lead up to that, but like you just gave examples I can't argue against.
That's right.
But I don't know. It just kind of felt like, I think it was just the tone. I don't know if I'd even say it's a tonal shift, but like just the shift in pacing, because it just felt like we had all this momentum that's just, it's paid off with the reveal of BB,
I think it would have been a detriment to the film to have a big clash of sword fight.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah. I mean, that's a cliche. Like that's right. What
and
leading up.
Had that in Volume 1.
And you kind of. That's what everyone's expecting to happen. They're expecting her and him to have this big fight on the, as he says, on the beach on black. Right. I think it works out perfectly. Okay. You get this last piece of intimacy between these two people that at one point shared a life and loved one another. Huge rift occurs. They haven't seen each other since, and then you have this last bit of intimacy before he dies.
Yeah.
And I think it's an amazing way to end this, the two movies.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It just felt the pacing wise, it just felt a little off for me. But how'd you feel when you first saw it though? Like, and how has your opinion changed over
like this is, I've had a lot of time to digest it all. So like, I don't know. I didn't really have a opinion yet. Like I had to mull it over. I had to rewatch it. So I remember enjoying it. I remember liking not having a big fight sequence at the end because I've had that. It took me some views to appreciate the dialogue and the character interactions.
And maybe that's where I'm at. Like, I probably need to watch it a couple more times to kind of really get a sense of it. Because like I said, it's been several years since I last saw this movie, so I think it was all still new to me when I rewatched it this time. So I think maybe that might be my disconnect there. And it's not like there's not an action scene at the end, because we get a pretty cool, intimate kind of fight sequence with them. It's quick, but
right.
I love the choreography of it with the swords and like the as impractical and unlikely as it is, but like the way that she like forces him to sheath the sword and everything. Which, and maybe this is putting too much into symbolism for a Tarantino movie, but is there like some kind of sexual like?
Yeah, I think you're putting too much into that.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll delete that blog post then.
That's all right. Nobody's on Tumblr anymore.
Oh, right. But yeah, so and it pays off the 5-point palm
exploding heart technique.
It does that well. Would you have preferred that been introduced in the first movie?
No, I like how.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if they did in the first movie, I mean, it would have been. We would have spent the year between releases saying like, "Oh, she's gonna learn that and do that to him."
Yeah, I like how it came about here, and I love the interaction between her. He was like, Paimon taught you that? She's like, of course he did.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're not a bad person. You're the best person.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you can be a real cunt.
That was great. I had forgotten about that line. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very emotionally impactful death. You can still see she has a love for him still, and vice versa. And that's just a perfect way for that death to come by. I feel.
Yeah. Everything with the fight and everything worked for me. It was just the lead up to it just felt a little too dialogue heavy.
No,
too talky.
Disagree. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did appreciate that we did get some kind of choreographed fight with them, because at the time, I mean, was it John Carradine or David Carradine?
David Carradine.
Was it David Carradine?
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of older. He was a very active older guy. But,
yeah.
He was still pretty older. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I'm impressed that we got that. With the potential sexual connotations of the sexual.
Yes, clearly.
Yeah. I actually went on a very weird tangent on an episode of Anthology where, like, the episode I was reviewing was about two characters having kind of a, for lack of a better term, a dick measuring contest, like who's the better guy. And, like, there's a scene where, like, in the background there's a statue that's, like, it's kind of like hunched over, like the Thinker, but his arms are kind of, like, outstretched. And, like, the way it's framed, it looks like a giant dick coming out of it. And I was like,
interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, is that intentional? Like, because it's a big dick measuring contest. Like, is that like, did they do
I think you just are looking for dicks in just about every piece of media.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's probably the case.
You have to get off that Grindr account, buddy.
Oh, God. I'm not. Anyway, so Kill Bill Volume 2 overall, how did you feel about the entire Kill Bill duo?
Well, at this point in my movie and watching career, I acknowledge that I feel like Volume 2 is a better movie.
Okay.
Still really enjoy Volume 1, still love Volume 1, but I think I find more enjoyment out of Volume 2 now. Maybe call it maturity or whatever you want to call it, but the dialogue and the character interactions really hit home for me.
Nice. So, where do you rank in the 4 or 5 movies we've reviewed? How does it compare to, like, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and Jackie Brown?
Probably in between Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown.
Yep, same here. Yep. Cool. So
can't wait for the coming sequel.
Okay, let's talk about that. Do you think that that's going to happen?
I think it most certainly is going to happen.
Interesting, because there was, like, a lot of talk about it, and then Uma Thurman was like, oh, yeah, Quentin Tarantino endangered my life on the set of Volume 2. Did you hear about that? Oh, yeah, like, one of the scenes where she's driving the car, like, they didn't have proper safety measures or what have you, and she filmed it herself, and, like, the car, like, she lost control of the car, and, like, it crashed.
Women drivers.
Oh, God. Anyway, I'm not going to touch that. Anyway, but yeah, and she got she suffered an injury on set due to it. And, like, I think it was, like, in the New York Times or something, she said that it was around the time, like, the Weinstein stuff was breaking. I'll put links to all this in the show notes. But Tarantino eventually, like he responded to it in the press saying, like, that's one of the worst moments of my career and my life. Like, that's, like, one of my biggest regrets, and I wish that I could take it back and everything, but I can't. Like, he was kind of gracious about it, but I think that there was a bit of
falling out.
There's a falling out there. But she did say in a subsequent interview that she said she would work with Tarantino again.
I think it's going to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, do you think it will be Vivica Fox's character's daughter?
I really hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
And I really hope that Daryl Hannah's back in it as well as an eyeless, kind of like a sage at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
kind of like Donnie Yen in Rogue One.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. That would be it.
I really hope that it happens. And I think it will eventually.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I haven't looked this up, and I promise I will look this up before we do our next episode of this, but Quentin Tarantino has said that he's only going to do 10 movies. Are you aware of that at all?
I've heard that before. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah, which, I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino, and then now he's talking about doing a Star Trek movie.
I'm down for that.
I guess I am too. I don't know what it's not that I don't want to see it or anything. It's just I don't know what that could be.
Yeah, I don't either, but
it's exciting.
Yeah, I'll go see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Death Proof.
Death Proof.
From Quentin Tarantino, the director of Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and Kill Bill, comes Death Proof.
This car is 100% death proof. Only to get the benefit of it, honey, you really need to be sitting in my seat.
This was in 2007, packaged with Planet Terror and the Grindhouse. Like, it was released in theaters as Grindhouse.
Yes.
I remember this was like an event for me. I went down to Evansville and I visited Mike and Pat, and we got a group together and we went to the theater and we saw Grindhouse. I do specifically remember that Pat from The Nerds You're Looking For, and I've said this on the podcast before, it's the kind of funniest kind of it's funny, but he told his girlfriend at the time, who was not into that type of movie, he told her that it was a skateboard movie to get her to agree to go, and she was not very happy.
Especially since it ends up being close to 4 hours.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of think back to that, like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny in retrospect.
I'm sure she loved it.
Yeah. But it was an event. It was exciting. I was very excited for it. And yeah, so this was the first Quentin Tarantino movie I saw in the theater. Yeah. And it was, man, the whole Grindhouse experience, like, having two films back to back, like, packaged together like that, having fake trailers in between them, having like the grain, like the missing reels stuff, like all of that, like the experience of that is one of my favorite, like, theater experiences, because it's an homage to, Grindhouse exploitation movies, and it's an homage to something maybe I don't have the stomach for. Like seeing those old types of movies that are just super gratuitous and violent and everything, but it's an interesting window into that world that I have no connection with. Kind of similar to Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 with martial arts movies. So yeah, I loved this experience. Did you see Grindhouse with all your friends or just Peter?
I did not see this in theaters.
Oh, no, really?
And I cannot tell you why. I don't recall why. I remember wanting to.
Yeah.
I purchased both movies as soon as I could without seeing them. Mm-hmm. I have no idea why I didn't go see this in theaters.
Wow.
And you said 2007?
2007.
I was out of college. I was working as a police officer. Couldn't have been money things. I had had a job.
Disposable income.
I have zero idea why I didn't go see this in theaters.
Wow. Could it be because it was like a big 3.5 hours?
No, I would have been all about it.
Okay.
I do not know why I didn't get to see this in theaters, and I wish I had.
Yeah. So when you say that you bought it on Blu-ray, did you buy them individually?
No, the DVD is like they came out individually and separately at a time. Mm-hmm. So I bought each. I think Planet Terror came out first. I bought it, and I bought Death Proof.
Oh wow! So you never. Wow, so you've never seen like it all in one go?
No.
The trailer. Wow.
I've seen the trailers. I've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
I've seen the movies Hobo with a Shotgun and Machete. So
we can talk about that in a bit after we talk through Death Proof. I haven't seen. Oh my god, I haven't seen either of them.
You haven't seen Machete?
Yeah, no.
I thoroughly enjoy Machete.
Yeah? Nice. Okay.
Hobo with a Shotgun, not so much.
Yeah, I've heard kind of because I don't think that's necessarily. I think that's like something that someone like came up with and then they made it like later. It wasn't like one of the trailers or anything. I don't think, was it?
Are you sure? I thought it was. I really think I thought it was.
Not 100% sure now. But because the trailers in Grindhouse were Don't, Thanksgiving, Machete. I don't know.
I thought it was. I could be wrong.
Yeah. We'll find out and talk about it next time. Oh yeah, I guess it was a trailer for in Grindhouse. Huh.
Starring Rutger Hauer.
Yep. So anyway, I still want to see Thanksgiving. I still want to see them make Thanksgiving, and Don't with Edgar Wright. But anyway, so Death Proof. By the way, I have the Grindhouse Blu-ray with all that together. If you want to borrow it and see it all in one
maybe
go.
After I've
Some time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So Death Proof. This is another big kind of pulpy genre thing from Tarantino. Considerably shorter because it's part of the Grindhouse thing, which I'm
Actually, it's so close. Almost 2 hours still.
Yeah, well, it's like an hour 40.
Yeah.
But like about 10 to 15 minutes of that is credits. Yeah. But this was the first and definitely not last, and hopefully we get more, Kurt Russell in Tarantino movies. Dude is amazing.
This movie would not have worked if it weren't for Kurt Russell.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I don't.
Yeah. I agree completely. And I think that Stuntman Mike, is that his name? Yeah, is one of the best villain characters.
He is. He's amazing.
Yeah,
and he's amazing because of Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he's one of the best. He's one of the best villain characters in a Tarantino movie thus far. Yeah. Because the next 3 movies have incredible.
He's a shark in this movie.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's a terrifying shark.
Oh, totally. And when he does the John Wayne impression,
oh
my god, so good.
That whole scene between him and Butterfly that's such a good scene.
So good.
He is intimidating.
Totally. Oh yeah. God, I love it so. The entire movie is for the most of the runtime is just depicting him as this just monster intimidation machine, and he's so just flippant with people's lives, and I love how the end of the movie he's
crying for his life.
So satisfying. And he's God, he might be one of my favorite actors.
He is overall, so good. Yeah,
he's incredible. What did you think of the overall plot and how it kind of is segmented into two acts? I would say
this movie has grown on me more and more as I watch it. So, I don't remember having a really strong reaction to it the first time. I think it was probably that's okay. But, I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times now since then. And each time I watch it, I think I have a stronger appreciation for it. The character development of the 2 sets of women as it progresses up to the climactic interaction between Stuntman Mike and them. I have a lot of fun with both groups of women, watching them throughout their evening or their day. And you kind of really get a closeness to them, especially the second group of women.
Yeah.
So at this point, I really enjoy how it's kind of segmented between the 2, because the first segment really introduces you into the menacingness of Stuntman Mike and his true intentions with what he's out there to do.
I agree. I will say that at this point, as far as character development for the female characters and everything, it's good, but I feel at this point in Tarantino's career, I'm kind of getting a little dialogue fatigue from him. The dialogue between them just felt okay, this is a group of people at a table in a diner kind of thing. Okay, we've seen this from Tarantino, not the content, but we've seen this similar type of thing. It just feels it felt like it's leaning onto what is admittedly an incredible talent of Tarantino's, is making really authentic and quick-paced dialogue that works well in the confines of the movie, but it just felt like it just kind of felt a little less effective than in previous movies.
And that's fair because this movie is literally dialogue interaction, action sequence.
Yeah.
Dialogue interaction, action sequence.
Yep.
So like there's not really a break in the dialogue portions of it. So I get that, and I get that complaint, and it's a valid complaint.
Yeah.
Did you notice Stuntman Mike in the background of the diner?
No, I don't think it did.
He's sitting at the counter eating.
Is he?
Uh-huh.
Well, they show him. At the diner for the second group.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I did not notice that.
He's in the background eating at the diner counter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't notice that. I did. Okay. Let's talk about just the style of the film. How it is, like, they purposely, like, made it, like, they put in visual effects for, like, the grainy film stock, and, like, it seems, and as the movie progresses, this gets less and less.
It's almost non-existent in the second part.
Yeah, that, and then also, like, the sound design. Because, like, in the beginning, like, when they're in the car and they're passing the billboards and stuff, it's like, I had to crank up my audio because, like, they, like, by design, like, it's, like, clearly, like, made, like, a kind of a shitty sound design. Like, there's more sound coming from outside the car than inside the car. And, like, I like that gradual progression where it becomes more of a, for lack of a better term, legitimate movie or more professional grade movie.
Sure.
And that's, I'm really thankful for that because we get some really cool, like a really cool extended, like, vehicular chase, car chase,
yeah.
A vehicular, action sequence out of it. I did like in the second group, one of my favorite lines of anything, and maybe it's because I have a soft spot for Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but where they tell her that or when they tell the guy, like, okay, well,
she's in a porn.
Yeah. And then, like, they leave, and, like, you get that guy, and he just goes up to her, and he's like,
gulp.
And she's just like, gulp. Like, something about, like, it's so simple, but it is so hilarious to me. I love it. So what did you think of the action and the violence? The
violence is a lot of fun given what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I love the first part of it coming from when he's just leaving the bar in the first sequence with Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite part right there when he's like, okay, am I taking a right or am I left? She's like, left. It's like, oh, that's a shame.
I love it. Like, so great.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
Like that turn is just perfect. And then the sequence of him killing her in the car, oh, it's horrific.
Oh, it's so great. And like, and just the glee in his performance when he's like, you know how I said it was death proof. It is death proof, but like, whatever the line.
But you only get the benefit of that if you're sitting in this seat.
Yes. It's so, God damn it. I love Kurt Russell.
Oh, he's so amazing in this movie.
He is just so incredible. I would say that he is up there in terms of in terms of Quentin Tarantino's like cast of performers that he recycles and uses and stuff. He's like, Kurt Russell's up there for me with like Samuel L. Jackson in terms of just getting like excitement over him being cast in Tarantino.
He's so much fun. So much fun to watch, and he's a great character in everything he does.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So like the action sequences were great.
That first crash is fantastic. I love how they cut a frame for each individual girl's death.
Yes.
And the part where Jungle Julia's leg goes flying out the window.
Was amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
That, and then when is it the hood or something comes in and just like
his tire comes through the roof and just like smashes Butterfly's face in.
So great. God, that was amazing. So awesome. So the second one, or the second like group of characters,
second segment maybe.
Yes. So the chase sequence at the end, I loved it because, and I'm not a car guy at all.
That's like, a good car chase though.
And what I love about it is that, like, while I'm not a car guy, like, when I was a pretentious, like, before I was a pretentious film snob teenager, I was a teenager who just liked looking at muscle cars.
Sure.
And I really, really liked, like, Mopar muscle cars. Like my favorite car when I was a kid was a 1969 Dodge Charger, which is what's in the movie, and it's the reason why I bought a updated one, like a current like Dodge Charger, because I was like, oh, I love Chargers. That was like 12 years ago, and it's terrible on gas mileage. So
that it is.
Yeah. But just seeing a Challenger versus a Charger on screen, like in filmed so well, is just so fun and so satisfying to me.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of fun. Like, I'm not a car guy, but I can appreciate a good car chase, and that was in a great car action sequence.
Yep.
And I love how it starts off too. I love the whole piece of these two idiot gearhead girls. Like, we're gonna be fucking morons and get on the hood of the car.
Which brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you. When you were in like high school and you first got your license and everything, did you and all your friends back then, did you do any stupid shit with cars?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no. That wasn't really my thing.
Yeah. We didn't either. Yeah, no. Just drive around.
Definitely didn't sit on the hood of a car and drive 70 miles per hour down the highway.
Oh, yeah. No fucking way. So... Yeah, and then the other question I wanted to ask you is, when Stuntman Mike does the pit maneuver, have you ever done a pit maneuver in your...
I have not. You have to be, for a few reasons. One, you have to go to a specialized school to become pit certified. And two, you have to be on a department that has a policy that allows you to do it, and Speedway does not allow us to do it.
Interesting. So. And funny side note, I've talked a lot about the... Facebook Live police chases that I like to watch when they crop up on my newsfeed and everything from like California. I finally saw one where they actually used the pit maneuver to great effect.
I have been in chases where, because, we work with the surrounding agencies, and Indianapolis Metro has several pit officers, and they have helped out on our chases. So I've been in front of a car that got pit maneuvered before.
Oh, nice.
And it was to great effect.
Nice. That's so interesting, because I've never thought of, like the process of that, because I just assume like, oh, okay, you're in a police chase, like any means necessary. Well,
there's a lot of liability involved in a pit maneuver, obviously.
Sense,
so there's you can't. You're not supposed to do it at certain speeds. You have to take into account the surrounding. Are you in a residential area? Are you in open road? That type of thing. You just, if guys are going 70 miles per hour down a school street, you're not going to want to pit maneuver and have them flip over and kill a bunch of kids. So
you can't like take your gun out and fire at the tires to try to blow out the tires.
No, I can do that all I want. Yeah.
Not even when you're in a chase. Just
no. That's how I get speeders to stop.
Yeah, there you go.
No red lights and siren for me. It's just round after round after round.
Yeah. I mean, they get that effect. It's loud, and they
stop.
See?
Yeah. They usually urinate themselves, but
just for liability's sake, Fekkes is not.
None of that is true.
So anyway, anything more on Death Proof?
I would say that the performances out of all the girls were really well done. I really liked the characters. I would say the one person that almost got a little bit too much was the black girl in the second part of it.
Oh yeah,
she towed the line of overbearing.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember her name. She was in Rent, yeah, and she was also in an episode of The Shield. But
Zoe Bell was fun. I like how they used Uma Thurman's stunt double for it. She was adorable when she gets thrown off the car, and they're like, she's just like, I'm okay. Yeah, it's like, so she was a lot of fun. I liked all the girls that were in the both segments.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, all of them were very likable, and just especially the second segment, they were badasses too. So.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like, what's the turn in that is so satisfying when he gets out of the car and he's doing that like faux humility kind of thing. Like, oh, that was fun.
It's like, that was great.
That was great. Adios. And then she
Like,
fires.
boom. Yeah.
So
Oh, when they're, it's like,
satisfying.
I'm sorry. It was just a joke.
Oh, it's so great. So we're about to get into movies where, in the next episode, where it almost seems, I don't know if this is premature to say this, but it seems like these next 3 movies that we're going to talk about next week are a little bit on the, there's a potential that it's on the side of Quentin Tarantino being a little overindulgent. And like, they're super long movies, they're like all 2.5, 3 hours. Freaking The Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
Overture. Or I think when they had the Roadshow version of it. But anyway, and they even have it like separated into 4 parts on Netflix.
Oh, do they really?
They do, yeah. I don't know if that's the Roadshow version separated in 4 parts or if it's like the theatrical run that's separated in 4 parts. But I just like Death Proof because it is this like little kind of like appetizer, a little dessert for Tarantino's like career, because it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a smaller movie.
And you get the sense he probably had a lot of fun doing it. Although
totally.
he says that it's his worst film.
Oh, he has said that, hasn't he?
But while he says it's his worst film, I don't think he means to say that he thinks it's a bad film, because he's very proud of the film.
Sure.
It's just, if you're going to make 9 films, one's going to be your worst.
Right, exactly.
And just because it's the worst doesn't mean, it's a D paper.
Yeah.
It can still be a solid B plus. And I think he probably looks at it that way. And he probably had a lot of fun making it, and he's proud of it. But, in the grand scheme of things, it arguably is his worst film.
Yeah. It's maybe his most like fluff movie.
Yeah.
Like it's very, there's not a lot of substance to it or anything.
But he did it.
Need to be.
You're right, and he did it as a fun project with his buddy Robert Rodriguez.
Exactly.
So it is what it is, and a movie that's going to be a takeoff of Grindhouse Films isn't in and of itself, in its nature, going to be a Oscar-worthy contender.
Exactly.
It's going to be a Grindhouse film.
Exactly, and to their credit, both Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, and granted I don't have that frame of reference, but like they captured that aesthetic so well in these movies that I was really pleased with Death Proof.
I will say this, I think Planet Terror is the better of the 2.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I'll have to rewatch it.
I have a lot of fun with Planet Terror.
Okay. Yeah, I'll revisit that, and then I'll bring it up in the next episode. But let's kind of wind down, I guess. I guess that's about it. Where do you rank Death Proof with? Well, you said it's probably.
No, it's not where I would rank it.
Okay.
I would rank it second from the bottom. I still, and this is going to be probably pending the first time I'll watch the movie since I saw it in theater. Hateful Eight.
Okay.
I saw that in the theater, and I did not get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it.
I am so excited to talk to you about that next time.
I'm looking forward to rewatching it and kind of, because it angers me that I have those feelings, because it has everyone in it. It's got Sam Jackson, it's got Kurt Russell, Zoe Bell, Channing Tatum, Michael Madsen's back. It's got
Bruce Stern.
Bruce Stern, and the goofy-looking guy that's in Justified.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah,
Yes.
Walter Goggins. He's great. Like, there's nobody bad in this movie, and it kills me that I did not like it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to rewatch it, hopefully with an open mind, and see how I feel about it again.
Nice. I'm very much looking forward to that, because I rewatched it 4 months ago, and like that was the first time I had seen it since the theater, and like I'll say this, I'm excited to rewatch it before we record, even though it's still fairly fresh in my mind.
Fair enough.
So I'm looking forward to that. The parting thought for this portion of the Quentin Tarantino retrospective. So I've mentioned that it seems like he is a very he has made his career as a kind of pulp filmmaker, and he's very style over substance and everything. So the kind of question going into part 3 is that all that he is? Is he just this stylistic director, or is he capable of turning in like a story of more substance? Like we get a little bit of that in Kill Bill Volume 2, like we get really intriguing character development and everything. But do you think he's capable of turning in a movie that is more character based over substance or over style, or does he even need to be that?
I don't know why he would need to be. Like, he's an auteur. He has his worldview. He showcases it in every single movie he does. This is the way he makes movies, and these are the types of movies he makes. Every director has a voice. Some people choose to deviate from that voice, sometimes to the detriment of their career, sometimes not. These are the movies he enjoys making. I don't think he thinks he has to make a certain movie for anybody, because he makes these movies himself. I don't think there's any need for him to try to be something that he doesn't want to do.
Okay,
so
that's fair. We will talk more about that next time, okay. I think, and see if there's any type of substance in the next three movies, which next time we're going to be talking about Inglourious Bastards from 2009. I almost said Django. Django Unchained from 2012, which I'm really excited about because I have not seen that since.
Oh my god, I love Django Unchained.
Yeah, oh yeah. And The Hateful Eight from 2015. So that's going to be fun.
It's been 9 years since he's made a movie.
Yeah, it's nuts. Wait, 9 years? Since
2015, you said? Is when, yeah.
That's 4 years.
4 years. I was thinking 2019. It's still 4 years. Sorry. Yeah, 4 years is still a long time.
I went along with it.
Right? He's like, yeah, it's been 9 years.
It's been 9
No,
years.
4 years. That's such a long time between films.
It is. Oh, yeah. So, we're coming up to the end of the retrospective here. So, tune in next time for that. And, so any parting thoughts on these three movies, and one final question after your final thoughts, if you have any.
I think all three of these movies are a lot of fun, and I am very nostalgic, especially about the Kill Bill ones.
Nice. And out of these next three movies, do you want to see more feet? Since Tarantino has such
I think there's just not enough feet.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He's got a super foot fetish.
It's so
like he's not even trying to hide it at this point.
It's like, and I do kind of appreciate that in Kill Bill Volume 1, it's actually pertinent to the story.
Right? Yeah.
Like her muscles have atrophied.
Move your big toe. Yeah. But in fucking. Death Proof, they just have Kurt Russell like blowing on Rosario Dawson, so that's super creepy.
Ugh, gross. Yeah, and just the parting thought for this episode is just imagine Quentin Tarantino saying the lines in a very creepy tone that Uma Thurman says in Kill Bill Volume 1, like, wiggle your big toe. Without breaking eye contact from him. So anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, if you want to get on the ground floor of our Patreon exclusive content, Fekkes and I just had a conversation about, what did we talk about? Stuff. His trip to Vegas.
The question of what I would do, bankroll with $5 billion.
Yes. Find out what Fekkes would do with $5 billion. Movie industry related.
Hint. A lot of dildos involved.
A lot. Like an alarming amount. Like, I didn't even get through the question. He was like, oh, dildos for everyone. I was just like, Dark Tower on Amazon. But anyway, check that out.
That's the name of the big dildo that I have in my now.
Oh, God. So check that out at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. I'll put a clip here at the end here from it. So, yeah, that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in next time for part 3 of our Quentin Tarantino retrospective in the lead up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once again, thank you guys for listening, and have a good one. And now, here's a short clip from our Patreon exclusive RSS feed. To hear the full clip and more exclusive Patreon content, go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer and become a patron at the minimum rate of $1 per month. Thank you and enjoy. I would get final cut on it, on the pilot that they're making now. If I don't like it, scrapping it, starting fresh, because we're going to do it right.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. And then the other one would be something I've been championing a lot on across all podcasts, really. A Stephen King anthology TV show that's episodic, so standalone episodes, where each episode is based on a Stephen King short story.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's a good call.
Yep. I would just, like, that would make me so happy.
I would also use what remaining funds I had left to buy the rights to Jaws to make sure no one could ever remake it.
Jaws?
Jaws.
Okay. That's
interesting. No one's allowed.
Okay.
The Obsessive Viewer podcast is edited and produced by Matt Hurt and presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. For a full archive of our episodes, go to ObsessiveViewer.com/OV archive. You can also like our Facebook page and join the OV Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And follow us on Twitter at ObsessiveViewer and at ObsessiveTiny. And follow our recurring co-hosts at I am Mike White, that's me, at R.A. Fekkes, and at Burger_Lurker. If you enjoy the show, please take a couple minutes to leave us a rating and a quick review on Apple Podcasts. This is the easiest way to support what we do, and all it costs is a little bit of your time. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. Or support us on Patreon for recurring donations and access to commentary tracks and B-roll audio recorded exclusively for patrons at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. Or you can simply search for Obsessive Viewer at teepublic.com, T-E-E, public.com. For information about our annual live event showcasing short horror films from local filmmakers, check out shocktoberInIrvington.com. And for an archive of all our events, as well as news about potential future events, head over to obsessiveviewer.com/live. For more podcast content, you can find Anthology, Matt's solo podcast covering The Twilight Zone, and other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows at anthologypod.com and on Twitter at OVAnthologyPod. You can also find Tower Junkies, a podcast where Matt and Tiny share their love of all things Stephen King and his magnum opus, the Dark Tower series, at towerjunkiespod.com and at towerjunkiespod on Twitter. And finally, check out The Secular Perspective, Tiny's side project podcast, which tackles current events and life's big questions from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda at thesecularperspective.com. The theme music for The Obsessive Viewer comes courtesy of the band Loudlike from their EP Mistakes We Must Make. Additional bumper music is provided courtesy of As Good As It Gets, which can be found at facebook.com/asgoodasitgetsband. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Kitty!